texted Robby after we had both, made it through the qualifying round, and I'm like, people will think we know what we're talking about now. Welcome once again to Chill Filtered, the podcast where we drink whiskey so you don't have to, but you probably should. You probably are, and that's why we like you. Today we are drinking Old Elk. That's our first product we've ever had from Old Elk. It's the Infinity Blend from 2021. There's a lot of cool background to it, but we'll get to that in a little bit. Before we get to background, before we get to anything, here's where you can support us. Watch us on our upcoming Matt Madness videos on
What? There's
YouTube.
going to be more?
There will be more, Robby. There will be at least one more.
Two
and
more.
so that's what I'm excited about.
At least one. Yeah, we might be.
Yeah, they might combine us, but I hope he doesn't. But anyway, yeah, Robby, I'll tell about mine, but I would love to hear how you're riding on that high right now.
Yeah, so it was last night.
Yeah.
It was pretty, man. I will say this. Matt is just fun. I love that dude.
He is fun.
He's a good guy. He just makes things fun. Like when we had him on the show, I want to get him on the show again because he's just fun to talk to. And I felt bad. So I really did feel bad. Like watching the first round, your round, the 4 p.m. one, the earliest one, it was like a little quiet. And I could tell Matt was kind of like, oh, really having to carry the show. So I told Cole, one of my strategies is you're already in. I'm just going to have fun. So I doubled up on the entry buzz. I was lubricated and ready to roll, and I felt bad because I feel like I came across obnoxious because I was.
No. So, well, I was even telling you yesterday that like I feel like you did talk more than you would, but it's almost like it's not that more than you would. Like I felt the same way. I felt like I was nervous and had to say something sometimes, and but I think you were fine. I don't think you were obnoxious. I think it was just, that's how it goes. Like Matt's always like, what are you doing? And when you sniffed or sipped or whatever or early, it was like, he always attacks that, which is good. I think he needs to.
That was fun though. No, and the people who was on with were really cool. The Bourbon van, and then
Scott from My Bourbon Journey.
Yeah, which is cool. So I thought I was with. I realized the people that I thought I was going to be with, Whiskey Written. They posted their 4 p.m. as Pacific time, so that's where I messed up.
Gotcha.
Yeah, but it was nerve-wracking because I came home to the office and I was getting ready and I couldn't figure out how to send the link to an email so I could pull it up on my desktops, and I had to I called Cole, like, what's the password to the Instagram? I gotta get on my computer. I had to reset that, and then go to get my camera started. My camera won't power up, so I'm on the old Bean Cam. Luckily, we had the old Bean Cam here.
Yep, I always got the backup Bean Cam.
And so I was like sweating bullets, and it was just dude, it was fun, good times.
So last week when I did Matt Madness, I don't often I don't know, I might sweat, but I don't really stink usually, especially like aerobic, but when I'm nervous, that sweat stinks. And so last week it happened when I was, watching, or when I was doing Matt Madness, and I was just nervous the whole time. And then when I was watching you yesterday, I was nervous too. Heather told me afterwards, she's like, you need to take a shower. Because my sweat was just stinking. And it's weird because normally I'll go for a run and I can go the rest of my day and no one will call me stinky. But if I'm nervous sweating, for some reason that sweat stinks.
That's funny.
So yeah, no. And I was so excited last week. I still can't believe it. It's like, I just think of the chances. Maybe we are good, but I'm banking on we're lucky. In a lot of ways, we did well. We both actually did really well. But I'm just like, hey, maybe that was just pure luck. But it's funny. I did give you the advice that I was doing myself, is just go with your gut. Don't overthink it. Just go with what you think. And I think you really benefited in certain ways because there was that one question where everyone got it as a bourbon and you called it as a rye, and it was a rye. And I think that really put you over the edge. Just calling it out.
That was the thing. It was you were just go with your gut, and there was times where I didn't even go back to sniff because my gut was kind of where it was at, So
that's what I did advice. Too. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it's great.
The other thing, I don't know if you caught it, but I called the bottle. I called the bottle. The
You
Walking Dead
did,
bourbon.
which was
Yeah.
really impressive. Have
But
you
it was
had that bottle before?
No, I mean,
Or you
no,
just seen it on his channel?
yeah, it was one of his early ones. He made like a cherry Walking Dead something,
Nice.
and but then I got it from, he's like, it's kind of spooky or something like that. I was like, is this the Walking Dead bourbon? So
Nice.
yeah, it was more off of his
Dude.
clue than
Yeah.
actually knowing. But
I was, it's funny, like, listeners, I texted Robby and after we had both, made it through the qualifying round. And I'm like, people will think we know what we're talking about now.
Well, here's the funny thing. So
Yeah.
I think I was feeling much happier and like a bigger high when you won, because I was like, oh my
Yeah.
gosh, we're moving. One of us is moving on.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, well,
And
then I was
the
like, oh, we
pressure was
both
taken
are.
off.
Yeah, there was a
Yeah.
lot of pressure off because,
Mhm.
well, in a way, they're also like, I didn't want you to go without me. I don't want to be alone.
Yeah,
Cole.
for sure. No, it'd be crazy. It'd be crazy. Like, I would love for us to be in separate rounds next time, but we'll see if we're competing against each other. I would hate to compete against each other just because I'd love for at least one of us, or potentially both of us, to make it through.
Well, actually, the odds of I will tank if we're on together. I will tank whoever's with us.
No.
I will. I'll dox them. Let's dox.
Oh
them.
no, I get it.
Not dox.
I
Let's swat
thought
them.
you were saying. Yeah, I thought you were saying you will
I'll
take the fall, and I'm like, no, we gotta both give our best.
No, it was fun. And the cool thing too is, like you had some really big time people in yours too, and
we had
like
the Hood Sommelier and the Whiskey Saint, and I'm blanking on the third guy, but I was so nervous with the Hood Sommelier, like. Dude, he's called the Hood Sommelier. He's got to be good at like tasting and stuff like that. And he was my main, like we were neck and neck. And we actually answered some questions very similarly. But I was like in complete disbelief that I had won that one. I was like riding this super high. Like, and I was like, remember we talked about last episode, we were like, I kind of feel sad, and but this whole week I've been like, I'm not sad no mo, like it's been great. So, and it's go ahead.
Go for it.
No, I just been just like, and the people that reached out, and I'll give proper shout outs later, but
oh man,
I just felt like, and so many people were so encouraging, and even like the Hood Sommelier like kind of reached out, and his name was Jack, of course, and yeah, I was just like, holy crap, like,
okay.
This feels so cool.
Yeah. Here's the thing.
Mm-hmm.
You and I were talking yesterday, and you're pumping me up. You're get it.
Yeah.
You gotta put them on the ropes, Rock. Like you're like getting me all ready to roll. And but the thing we were talking about, the coolest thing about this whole thing is the support of our listeners.
Yeah.
Man. Like just the people in the comments, like spamming, like just go, bro. And like just the support from everybody. So like tons of people reached out this week, and you guys are all awesome. Like that was the coolest thing.
Sure.
Like I felt like I was going into it with people in my corner, right? Like it was fun. So anyway,
and like
thank you
people
guys
that were like,
us.
"You well earned this," and I'm like, "No, it didn't." Thank you. Like
that's the thing is, like, I guess we do know what we're talking about a little bit.
Yeah,
like,
no, I mean, like, there's got to be some hint of like we're okay. Like we're at least somewhat knowledgeable.
Welcome.
I loved that
podcast.
Exactly. I love that Chelsea was watching at least mine.
Yeah, Chelsea
saw her name a few times.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Did she not watch yours?
No, actually, like, that was me. No, she wasn't. She wasn't watching you either, Cole. I was on two devices because I couldn't
funny. Was she?
Because I couldn't figure out how to do the the money chat thing.
Oh, super chat. Yeah.
Super chat. Couldn't figure out how to do the super chat from my phone, and then I did it, and you're like, Robbie, you have to write something. It's like, I
forgot about that. That's so funny. And the funny thing is, Matt does a really good job at throwing you off. He'll say, like, at the end of the first round or something of mine, he was like, Cole, you got to pick it up. And I was like, crap. And like, I was just like, oh man, I must be doing terribly. But I was doing all right. So
yeah. Well, other than Matt Madness, how you been, bud?
Be good. I'm actually leaving today. When I'm done this recording, I got to go pick up my sister at the airport.
Nice.
And then she's gonna hang around for a few hours with her husband and her kids, and then we're heading off to Disney after that. So while she's here with her husband and her kids, I gotta edit the video and put it on YouTube. But that's not too bad. And that's what's on my mind right now. Is I have a week off of work next week, and I'll be at
that's nice.
Disney World.
Sweet.
So, yeah, it should be good. And so we got everything planned. My side of the family will be there, and Heather will be the tour guide, the Disney expert tour guide. No. It just shows up like on every episode. Dude, accidentally.
Here's the thing is I listen for it now, and far more people say the way you do than I ever thought. And
although Jason Preston,
there are so many stupid people in the world. I did not even know it.
But Jason Preston agrees with you, at least the French side.
Yeah,
I think we mentioned that last time. Yeah, Tour de France. I didn't know that. I thought it was Tour de France, like even the French. Tour de France.
It's Tour de France.
Dressing.
France!
Yeah, I saw that recently. It's so funny. France! If you don't know what we're talking about, look up like Miss Universe or something like that. France. Yeah, and look up France. Yeah. And they're all like, Bolivia! And like,
Bolivia!
Senegal!
France! Yeah. This is good. This is good content.
This is good content. So, how are you doing?
I'm great, man. It's been kind of a fun week. So
yeah,
had a Thursday night, went and took the girls to the Bluey Big Play. It's like the live production with these Bluey puppets and stuff like that.
Oh, that's cute.
Oh, dude, it was awesome. It was so much fun, and like it was really cool, and the girls were loving it and like getting into it, and like there's spots where you dance and scream and stuff like that, and like it's such a good show. Like the parents were really into it, so it was a lot of fun.
About Bluey.
Best part though, Keep You Uppy. They throw these huge like bouncy balls out in the crowd at the end, and like you're playing Keep You Uppy with them and stuff. So that was pretty. It was a lot of fun.
Was it like Disney on Ice status?
I've never been to Disney on Ice, but it was a huge. It was a great production. Cool. It was really cool. I mean, it was stellar. So that was fun. Yeah. And then like had a teacher in service day yesterday where I just got to kind of get a lot of work done. So felt productive. And then Monday's off, and
that's just right. President's Day.
So it's a nice long weekend here. Yeah. So life's good, man. NBA All-Star game this weekend, and and then we're both moving on to the next round. Madness.
I know.
Qualifiers. Riding that high. It's fantastic.
And I know I'm pretty sure we're not going this week. I was listening to the last of Matt Madness last night, and I think he listed who's going next week, and we weren't on there. So we're probably at least 2 weeks out, which is fine. I can use some prep time. So
that's the other cool thing I'm excited about. So like I really enjoyed the people that I was on the show.
Oh with. Yeah,
like, really cool. I did not think I was going to beat Scott. I thought Scott was going to get it. Sure.
He's been around before we were. Yeah. I met him in person at Driftless Glen Distillery, and he was. I mean, we had only probably done like less than 20 episodes, and Scott was like already like filming the whole distillery tour and stuff like that. He's a great guy. Cool. Really nice guy. I mean, he's done our episode 53 or 54 or something.
Yep. Okay, the old Dusty's filled in for you and Adam on your summer hihiatus. Yeah. But the cool thing is, like, I'm excited to see who we go up against. Like,
yeah, seriously.
Like, we've gotten to do an episode with the Grease, so we've been there. But I don't know. It'll be interesting to see who we get matched up with. Like, we could be getting into some like heavy hitters of YouTube soon.
Yeah, I was a little sad that Bruzel. Shout out to the guy named Bruzel.
He was good. I like him.
Yeah, he's a cool. His channel is actually really legit, and I think he's recently started up, but it looks so professional, and he looks like such a pro that I'm just like, this guy I'm gonna trust. So I don't know. I love his channel. So if you're listening, Bruzel, we love you.
He has that partner too, right? He does it with somebody, right?
I'm not sure. I don't think Bruzel.
The guy,
he's the guy with the strong Southern accent.
Yeah, and I think he did the guy that won the one after mine last night, the middle one. I think.
Oh, was he? Okay,
I think they do it together. I think they do some stuff together. Cool. I don't know. No, anyway,
it might be good.
Yeah, Bruzel was cool. We got to reach out to that guy.
Yeah, certainly. Yeah, and that'd be a fun one. And apparently, he's. I liked him because he was serious enough about the competition, but it was hilarious in the middle of things too. So,
he threw a couple barbs at people, joking
Yeah.
barbs at them. I was like, oh
Mhm.
man,
Yeah.
he kept putting the guy with tape on his nose in place.
Yeah, exactly.
Can't
But the
remember
guy
that
with
guy.
tape on his nose, which I totally forget his name, but he put X's on his shirt.
Yeah, he came out guns blazing.
Yeah, so that's my thing is like I don't think I could sustain that kind of trash talk. Like I could try and fake it, but I'm not much of like a trash talker. Um but like yeah, I'm just like you guys did great and I'm so glad I won. Like it was crazy. I was like I was just like I can't believe this. Yeah. So anyway, we got to keep it a little short today. As I said, I'm picking up my sister
We're not right now.
after this. So yeah, we're doing all right. So I mean, we're not doing all right, but we're gonna send it to break, and we're gonna go for a walk. And when we get back, we'll talk about Old Elk. So here we go to break. And we're back. So really quick shout outs. I got a lot this week. So shout out to the people that were able to at least watch my Matt Madness. I wrote these notes before yesterday. So for last week, it meant so much, like even more than you guys think. I really appreciate the people that showed up for mine. I remember at least Dramhound, John Hughes, Miles Ferguson, Brian Rapp, Paul Clarkson, and I believe the Smoked Oak. But I apologize if I'm missing anyone. And I know at least Jason Preston was watching yours, Robby. So, but yeah, shout out to all those we missed as well that I forgot to mention. Shout out to Paul Clarkson for providing the sample we're drinking this week. And a shout out to the competitors from Matt Madness. Had me worried the whole time, especially Jack, the Hood Sommelier. Check out his Instagram or his YouTube channel. His Instagram handle is @hood_sommelier. He's doing great stuff. Another shout out to Dramhound. Friggin' Dramhound. Earlier this week, I was thinking to myself, one day I'm going to meet Dramhound and realize that he's the genuinely awesome person that he seems to be on Instagram. And then this week, he reaches out with a very uplifting message and just proves how amazing he is. So triple ding shout out.
Well, I got to add to it.
Dramhound.
Yeah, because we were a little down last week, and we're just being real about our mental health. Bryce Marita also reached out to me. Was like, hey, same thing, Graham. I was like, hey, if you just ever need to talk or whatever, like I'm here. We can
what a baller.
We can shoot the poo. Seriously. Another shout out. Miles Ferguson had eye surgery and was like, I can't watch Matt Madness, but I will be listening. And then he messaged me and was like, I broke doctor's orders to add my comment at the end. So I hope your eyes are okay. So anyway, I appreciate all the support from everybody. You guys are all great. All great, except for Steve and Mitzelprick.
Steve. But anyway, and then one last thing is a correction from last episode. We don't do this often, but we're always happy to do it. So if you let us know we announced something wrong, you can correct us.
Don't just tell us we're full of inaccuracies. Tell us inaccuracies.
Yeah, exactly. I had been misinformed that Connemara was the only Irish whiskey brand that was using peat, and that is false. Teeling has a variety called Black Pits, which is a peated,
which is cool after you get nervous sweat.
Yeah, it turns black too. It doesn't just smell. And then there's a silky Irish whiskey, also slightly peated. So I wanted to give a shout out to Bubble Bath Bourbon for the help with that. He gave us some great correction there, and I appreciate it. So this week we're drinking Old Elk Infinity Blend 2021. This is definitely our first Old Elk product on the podcast. So it'll be some new history here, and excited to get into it. So here we go. We'll talk about the distillery. So Old Elk was started in 2013 by a guy named Kurt Richardson. And the distillery was started in Fort Collins, Colorado. We've talked about like people in the past.
We have talked
that
about
started up. Yeah, we've talked about people in the past, but they've started up craft distilleries that were previously, before they started up the distillery, they were a pretty successful business person. Definitely the case here. But Blue Run, for example, comes to mind, as well as Rogue Spirits, both started by
Nike boys.
Nike executives. Yep. And but Kurt Richardson for Old Elk, he was also, like I said, in this category. He invented Otterbox, the phone
Oh,
case company. And the company makes like it's kind of synonymous. Like when you think of a good phone case, you think of Otterbox.
indestructible. They should
Yeah,
wrap
yeah,
tanks in that stuff.
they should.
They should make tanks out of
Indestructible.
Nalgene bottles and cover them in an OtterBox. We win every war.
Yeah, seriously. Can't stop us, but don't give away our secrets. And apparently the company does pretty well. Most people would know the name, but Kurt is worth his net worth is like 1.6 billion, which is a lot of
Dang.
monies. So he had some dough to start the whiskey company for sure. But from what I've read, Kurt and a guy named Louis Gonzalez, the CEO,
Louis.
and the master distiller called Greg Metz are all known to be kind of visionaries in the whiskey realm. But what they wanted to do was not just make a whiskey, but make it differently. Yes, Old Elk does source the high majority of what's this?
I just when I lifted my hands up earlier, they just looked like really pale and
No,
large.
it's just the lighting. You're good.
Sorry, I'm not trying to signal you. I'm just looking at my hands as you talk.
Oh, do your thing. But yes, it is the high majority of their whiskey comes from MGP. But there's definitely some things that set it apart. For example, before the master distiller Greg Metz joined the company, he had been working for MGP Distillery for like 40 years, even before it was called MGP.
40 years?
40, yeah, 40 years.
Dang.
Yeah, a long time. And he started at Old Elk in 2016, but in the years before he came to Old Elk and was still working at MGP, he was getting Old Elk very unique mash bills, ones that they typically didn't do, which is kind of cool. They were, working together for that. Like they weren't just your standard MGP mash bills. But since he joined, he's really been trying to source and blend and even finish some of the best barrels that MGP has. And he's super familiar with MGP, so he's kind of got the inside look. Anyway, there's another thing that makes Old Elk unique. The thing is it's a trademarked process that's called slow cut, and it's a method of cutting and proofing the whiskey.
Is that a
So normally
proprietary process?
it's probably proprietary. Oodles proprietary. It is.
Oodles.
Yeah,
It's been a while.
Oodle sighting. Yeah. So normally the cutting process of a batch can take about a day or two, which I didn't know. I didn't. I thought it was just you add water and that's it. But like stir it. But apparently there's actually a chemical process that happens when adding like pure water to alcohol, and it creates heat. Didn't know that. So this slow cut process not only takes a little longer, it takes a good few days, they say, up to a week sometimes, if not more, to meld the whiskey with the water, but they cool the whiskey and the water apparently to prevent it from overheating and potentially losing some of those delicate flavors in that heat process. So their core offering is a high malt bourbon, which is on their core. But it's they have a bourbon with I want to say it's like 35% or more barley content, which is pretty high for a bourbon. And they have a straight wheat whiskey, wheat being the majority grain, and then they have a wheated bourbon, and then a straight rye. That's of their core offering. But this Infinity Blend they're doing is pretty cool. It's a part of their Master Blend series. So the goal of this release, a yearly release, is to blend a little of every batch into next year's batch, while still adding other new barrels too, similar to a infinity bottle. For example, the 2022 release was 82% new barrels, including 2 of their own distillate, aged 7 years each, as well as 12 and 13-year Kentucky bourbon. But the remaining 18% is from the 2021 release, what we're drinking today, actually. So they add, and then next year this year's release in 2023, they're going to add the 2022 portion of the batch will be the 2022 release. So it's kind of cool. So every year, yeah, you're getting a little bit of the prior year's batch and the prior year's batch after that because they're continually adding it. So they're not the first to use this concept, though. Barrel Craft Spirits has been doing this for a little bit longer, actually. So in 2021, this was the first batch, and that's what we're drinking today. So Old Elk Infinity Blend 2021. Since this is the first batch, we're not adding anything from the prior batch, but there is 60% 6-year Old Elk bourbon, and that's 51% corn, 34% malted barley, 15% rye. The remaining 40% of the whole blend is a mixture of 12 and 11-year Kentucky bourbons, mash bill undisclosed for those. It is a 114.9 proofer, no special finishes. Total wine price about 150, and a shout out, excuse me, again to Paul Clarkson for not only a cool label and a cool bottle, but the whiskey inside.
I can't tell which one I like more. I guess we'll have to drink it to find out.
Yeah, that's for sure.
The bottle or the whiskey?
Yeah.
Oh man. So here's the thing. It's 750 here.
Ooh, Twizzlers.
Oh, okay.
Like red standard Twizzlers.
Whoa. It was just my lighting, but the color on that looked crazy for a second there.
It's a little dark.
Here's the problem. It's 7:50 Boise time. I haven't taken a shower yet.
Shower in the whiskey, baby.
My nose is a little congested. I'm trying to remind myself I'm on a video. Do not get those boogies out.
Cherries and strawberry Twizzlers. That's all I'm getting, and it's great.
Boogers is what I'm getting. Oh man, I'm not.
Are you not getting Twizzlers? I'm like getting pure standard Twizzlers on these.
I'm not. I'm getting like a sweet bourbon. I'm not getting. I can get like a
it's
like
definitely
a little
sweet.
fruitiness. If I
not
think
too much oak.
Yeah, no, not oaky much at all. Go for it.
Yeah, go for it. Yeah, I'm just blown away by like the upfront cherries and yet the standard strawberry type Twizzlers. Yeah. So.
Ooh, I like this.
What do you think?
First sip. It's definitely sweet. It's like a sweet bourbon, but then I get like the rye. I think really stands out. Like it's nice kind of candy, little bit of spice on it. The mouthfeel is just one of those that's kind of like blooms a little bit, like like a fast bloom. Like it just like all of a sudden it's like spreads across your mouth. I'm liking it so far. I'm going to go second sip here.
So I was there. Okay, so three things happened. There was the front of the palate, the mid palate, and the finish. The front of the palate was sweet, bourbony, but then the oak took over in the mid palate to me. But
maybe
then
that's what I'm getting instead of rye.
Sort of faded out into the Twizzlers at the end. The finish is still Twizzlers for me. I don't love the oak portion. That kind of took over for a little bit, but I love the finish on the front of the palate. Yeah,
I like the oak a lot. I think it's really good. Yeah, I think that's kind of where I'm getting the spicy, like kind of a rye taste to it, which I like, a little cinnamony. Yeah. I'm gonna drop some water.
It's got a nice sweetness to it.
It is. No, I think this is really. What was the price of the bottle again?
$150 retail.
$150. Okay, that's a lot. Dang, Paul.
Yeah. Thanks, Paul.
Dang, Paul. Pauler the baller. Paul Bear.
Pauler the baller.
We said this under Undertaker. Here we go.
All right. Give it the old spin job.
Oh my gosh. I added some water to this. It got hotter.
Really? On the nose?
There's a chemical reaction occurring here.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't slow it down.
Yeah, this is a little less Twizzlers, a little more oak on the nose for me.
I get the sweetness. I like the sweetness on this.
Yeah, there's still some sweetness,
really sweet.
I don't love it. I definitely preferred the cherry and Twizzlers that I got on the neat nose, but this is still good.
Okay. The water kind of takes out the front end. Like it's not really sweet on the front.
Yeah, the oak shows up quicker.
And then, but I think I like it a little bit better with water because the finish on the back end is a lot more of that oaky spice, and I like that.
Yeah,
Like,
I'm the opposite. I think it's a little too strong.
See, I think this would be an interesting one to like kind of do like the Matt Madness thing where you're like, which one of these is a bourbon? Which is it a bourbon or rye? Because it definitely starts as a bourbon kind of a thing, but then to me it goes straight rye. Really shows up. Hey Cole, do you know? Can you, if you hover over the mute button, do you know what the shortcut is to mute yourself? Hover over the mute button. What is it?
It just says mute.
It doesn't show you the shortcut.
No, maybe it's like I don't know.
It says Control D.
Control these nuts. I've used that at work before. For Excel, I'm like, you don't know Control D yet? And he's like, Control D. I'm like, Control D's nuts.
And that's why you had to have that conversation 2 weeks ago.
Exactly. That's why HR got involved.
No, I was gonna have to mute myself because I thought the twins were about to start fighting, but
twins. Yeah, I don't prefer either the palate, the finish, or the nose on the water.
But I like it.
But we'll see how the ice goes. I got a nice chunk of ice right here.
I like it a lot.
Like it a lot. Dropping a drop.
Nothing like drinking whiskey at 8 in the morning.
When
your wife's at work and you've got to watch the kids and then drive to the airport.
Daddy's got to hang out with Cole. Daddy's got to drink. Yeah, I got to go pick up my family with 114, and I entry buzzed with overproof rum. So I'm gonna keep it careful.
That the Appleton estate,
dude. No, it's Plantation.
Plantation. Okay.
Yeah.
So here's the thing: the nice thing about recording this early on Saturday morning is I don't have to stagger on down to the bus stop to pick up the girls. Hey, bus driver, thanks for dropping my kids off.
Yeah.
And give us a ride back.
Hey, other kids' parents.
Actually, like I'm the only parent that goes.
What?
To the
what a good parent you are, then.
Or
are all the kids older?
Yeah, the twins are the youngest, so like it's all like, or they have like the other kids have a big brother or big sister that walks.
Gotcha.
Them,
yeah. They don't really have that.
Although I almost did let the twins walk home by themselves. I got there late and pulled around, and then they started walking home, and they didn't see me. I was like, maybe I'll just follow them to see how they do.
Yeah,
but then they saw me. They saw me. Oh. I didn't bring a newspaper to hide behind.
All right. They
would
totally believe that too. They'd be like, "Who's this guy with the newspaper?"
I'm not getting much on the nose.
Not much. Yeah,
killed it.
It's just kind of I'm not getting the fruitiness. I'm not getting the oakiness. I'm just getting basic bourbon notes, but it's very muted.
Yeah, there's the nose really got killed by the ice. Oh man.
Oh no. Not meant for ice. I don't know about you, but it like bittered it and over oaked it. And
the oak is super prominent. Yeah.
Super prominent. And it's funny how it was a little prominent on the neat pour, but it's like front and center and throughout on the ice pour.
Yeah,
I'm gonna have a hard time finishing this, to be honest, but I feel like I should.
It gets kind of like a bitter, soapy greasiness to it on the mouth. Not a fan of the ice. It is very oaky, and the thing is, like, I like the oak previously. I can do oak, you can't.
Yeah.
Excuse me. And I liked it. I thought it was well balanced, but that was just too much.
Yeah. So I think I actually am formulating a good rating on this one, or at least a confident rating.
Okay.
I'm going to go with a 8.35 here.
Okay.
Not blown away, but what it had, the best thing this had going for it was that Twizzlers fruity note, like candy fruity note that was not only on the nose, but was also on the finish. I loved it, but the palate didn't really blow me away altogether. And so that's why I still give it an 8+ happily, but I wouldn't give it too much higher than the 8.35. So,
okay. I'm gonna go
Yeah.
8.7. I like
Nice.
the
Okay.
spiciness to it.
Mhm.
I think it's a good pour.
Mhm.
Is it worth 150? I
Yeesh.
don't think
Not
so,
for me.
except for the
Mhm.
fact how cool would it be to have each iteration of the Infinity? So you can just kind of go back, have that
That'd
on
be
the shelf,
cool.
and yeah, and I really the idea is awesome. Like it'll be interesting to
Yeah.
see how it progresses. So
Mhm.
it could come across as a shtick or a gimmick, but could
Yeah.
actually work.
Yeah. And yeah, the cool thing is I mean, I wouldn't turn down if someone was like, "Hey, I got the 2022 release." I'd be like, "Yeah, I'll try it," so
All right.
that's what I got there. So, now that we got our ratings in, I think it's time for our next segment of the show that we like to call Whiskey World News.
And we're back. Cole got me with his.
That's funny.
Yeah, you look at me, and then I coughed and laughed, and I
Nice.
phlegmed myself up and almost choked to death on my own
Oh, you
phlegm.
phlegmed yourself up all right.
Oh boy. Anyway, this is the part of the show where Robbie almost aspirates on his own bodily fluids,
I
and
hear
we read
that.
an article. Didn't write it, gonna read it. Here it goes. This one comes from Food and Wine. No, I
Nice.
don't want 15% off. And is written by Jalissa Castrodale. That's a interesting last name. It's titled
Yeah.
Jameson Irish Whiskey will make you a desk decoy so you can take St. Patrick's Day off. It's around the corner, folks.
Nice.
Sometimes it feels like part of having vacation days is stressing out about whether you should actually use those days or not. According to a 2022 survey by Zippia, over 61% of U.S. workers feel guilty about taking time off from the work for reasons that range from worrying about family, falling behind in projects, or feeling less valued by their coworkers. But the good people at Jameson Irish Whiskey want all of us to make the most of our hard-earned PTO days, starting with St. Patrick's Day. To encourage us to skip out on our 9 to 5s for the day, the whiskey maker has created the Jameson Desk Decoy, a life-size cardboard cutout that you can set up at your workstation while you're off doing literally anything else. We've all
Nice.
been there before. Your boss forgot you took SPTO, St. Patrick's Day time off, and
Nice.
swings by to meet one-on-one. Your finance department didn't get your SPTO memo and request your latest expense reports while you're out of the office. Johan Radjowski, Jameson's vice
Ah,
president of marketing, said in a statement that that's why, in the true spirit of Jameson, we are introducing the Jameson Desk Decoy, a comical life-size version of yourself for the office, so the real you can take that planned SPTO off and go celebrate. If you like to get your own cardboard likeness, you can order them through the Jameson SPTO website. You'll have to upload a photo of your face, select which
nice.
Jameson-themed outfit you'd like cardboard you to wear, and decide whether it should stand at 5'6" or 5'11". It costs
11.
how much do you think it costs, Cole?
I don't know if they're shipping it from Ireland, but I want to say it costs $50.
$17.80 plus
Oh,
tax
good.
for
Nice.
each Jameson Desk Decoy, a price point chosen because Jameson was founded in 1780.
Ireland.
So
Yeah,
that's
that
that.
too.
You can place an order between now and Friday, March 10th to ensure delivery by St. Patrick's Day. Company's not
Nice.
going to quality limited. Does note quantities are limited. I'm going to get on this today. What are your thoughts, Cole?
I love their marketing department. That's all I'm gonna say. I think
Cheers.
they every year they put out something like this around St. Patrick's Day, and even Christmas they'll do some crazy things. Like remember that bottle, that tree that was made of
You could
Jameson
get
bottles?
Jameson bottles, yep, that were
Yeah,
empty.
yeah, but they always do fun things, and I appreciate. It's like Bush's baked beans, the only baked beans there can be.
The only
Um,
beans we both keep at our desk. Because you
exactly,
never know
but
when you're going to go on a bean crash and you need some beans to sustain you.
exactly, exactly. I hate the bean crash. But I can say that Bush's doesn't take themselves too seriously in their marketing department, which I love. And I think most companies should do that. And I think it's kind of just fun that like not Jameson's not for everyone. Bush's baked beans is for everyone, but they don't act like it. But yeah, I love that they just don't act like they're like, hey, let's make it fun while we're marketing things. So I appreciate that about Jameson. What do you think?
Yeah. I think I'm going to order one. $17 plus tax.
What's the
Might as
tax?
well. Cole, you should get one too and throw it up on the wall
I
behind
should.
you. So I
Yeah,
don't know
that's
if you
actually a good
noticed
point.
I don't know if you noticed last night.
Uh-huh.
Oh, I got one of these.
Uh-huh.
I put them in the background.
Wait, who was it?
That's my dad.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah, so
With the Bush's hat.
with the Bush's hat
Yeah.
on, yeah. during COVID, like they didn't have fans in the crowd, so you could do that. So
that's right.
My dad passed away
Yeah, a few years
in
ago.
19, and so during COVID, or no, it was 18. And so during COVID, I ordered that, and that got him season tickets, man. One
Where
time,
at?
so he Memorial Stadium, so Nebraska. So he was up in the stands for every Nebraska game
Nice.
that season. So
But
pretty
you
cool.
didn't
So anyway,
go?
well, you can't go. It was during COVID. It was when
That's
there was
right.
nobody in stands, so
Yeah, I hear
he was
that,
up there. So it was pretty cool. So I put him in the background last night to watch his boy do his thing.
And they talked about your elbow, but they didn't talk about your dad.
Yeah,
sorry.
No, that's what I thought he was talking about because he was sitting right over
you're
there.
like,
yeah. So anyway, I think this is a cool idea. I think I'm gonna try to get on this and order one.
I'll look at it. Yeah, see if I mean, it might very well fill in this space back here. So
yeah, quantities. Actually,
maybe I'll put you in there.
Man, I was just thinking we should do the old switcheroo. So you're behind me, I'm behind you.
No, that sounds funny.
There we go. All right, should we move on?
Yeah, let's move on. So shout out again to Paul Clarkson this week because it is time for what whiskey would you choose? Please go ahead.
Over last
week's results. Yeah.
Which you did not make fun of me for. I appreciate.
Oh yeah, you definitely did it wrong.
What's the better entry buzz for ADHD?
Extra terrestrial.
Yep. Cole with Eagle Rare. I went Buffalo Trace, but I put it down as ET. And I true to my word, I did watch ET last night before I went on. No, I did not. And Cole won 81% to 19% because people are like, ET, that's a movie, not a whiskey. So 81% of people chose the actual whiskey. Got some write-ins. Marco Nazi went with Standard Knob Creek because he's watching a couple of knobs.
And Knob is definitely something that shows up on Matt Madness.
And Joel and MO9 went.
Heck, it was the last episode or the last round. Yeah.
You can compare more things. So just go with a lot of entry buzzing. Mad Town Marker, Mellow, Effin' Corn.
And
Miles Ferguson, I think you nailed it with the baseline MGP, but also a few sips of a high proof rye for contrast.
Yeah.
And the Smoke Note is going to eat a turkey. Send a picture of a turkey.
So Smoke Note, hit us up. I think he's reached out at least once, but we want to hear your name. I don't know what I can call you besides the Smoke Note. But maybe you're like Dramhound and you're like, nah, let's just call me Dramhound, which we know Dramhound's name. But we want to hear from you, Smoke Note.
Our courier / private investigator showed up at his house and gave us the deets. And we also know John friggin' Voldemort Hughes' middle name.
That's true. Yeah.
Our investigating skills are.
We basically dox people.
We know everything about you.
Way. Yeah.
Yeah, we're like when you start listening, we microchip you. We know where you're at right now.
Yeah.
We know what you're doing.
Yeah. We know what you did last summer.
All right. Paul Clarkson, Weller, Special Reserve, Bro Taskin Haskins, our Canadian turtle friend, Weller Special Reserve as well. A great weeded bourbon that lets the sweet
great choice.
Through. And Brian Rapp, Standard Knob Creek 9-year. Because he's watching a couple knobs on Matt Madness. All right. Paul Clarkson is the man. He gave us one for this week. What is it?
And if you want to give us one,
you give us two.
He gave us two, but we're only going to do one. So, so currently you have to pick one whiskey in your collection that is, currently in your collection to pour down the drain.
Ooh.
What do you choose?
Oh, jeez.
So I have an answer. I'll answer first while you think.
Okay.
So I have one. It's an Irish whiskey, and I love my wife, love her to death, love her to pieces. But she got me this Irish whiskey that was Peaky Blinders themed, and it's all right. It's all right, but it's not something that I'm gonna drink when I'm having a good day. So I feel like I won't lose too much by pouring the Peaky Blinders Irish whiskey down the drain. Sorry, Heather, but she doesn't listen. So
the thing is, I mean. The cool thing behind it is you loved the show Peaky Blinders.
Yeah, it was a good show.
You don't have to love the whiskey. And the thought was there. The company just didn't deliver.
Yeah.
Right? Mm-hmm. So my first thought is the Crown Royal Peach because I don't really drink it.
It's worth it.
But that's like
it's technically not a whiskey.
Well, that's one thing my wife will drink. So happy wife, happy life. Not going to pour that. There's a whiskey I got from out here from Center Fire Distillery. It's a local Idaho one. It's a corn whiskey. When I got it for the beginning of the football season because I needed a corn whiskey.
You need a corn whiskey,
but I think it's like sherry finished, and I'm like, that's not what I want in a corn whiskey. So I would pour that down the drain.
What's the proof? Do you know?
Oh, I don't.
All good. It's probably not Mellocorn Hundo proof. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But
I would not pour Mellocorn. Mellocorn is good. I like Mellocorn.
Mellocorn's better than what people think. So
my guy at the liquor
Mellocorn might be
store is
putting out,
Bourbon.
or what's it called? Heaven Hill might be putting out like a Mellocorn like age statement soon. So yeah. But I might be wrong about that. But yeah, this next coming week, let's put it between. I have a list of whiskeys to drink on the podcast. Where's the list?
What's on the list?
Go.
What's on the list?
What's in the box? Let's go Scotch. What do you say?
Oh yeah, let's do the Scotch.
Let's go Tomatin Cuboken, which we've had on for a little bit, which would make a really cool story. And let's go between that and Penderin Celt. So
okay,
keep an eye out this week on whiskey or on Pick Tuesday, and we want to hear what you will drink. Actually, and we might pull Audible if I can get things. No, I don't think I can get them to Robby quick enough, but maybe the week after that we could probably do the A. Smith Bowman Cast Strength Batch 2. But we'll figure that out soon. So anyway, hope you guys join us on Instagram. Sorry, it's been a little bit of rushed episode, but I hope you still had a good time and had a good time watching Matt Madness. So we're grateful to have you.
Cole, I hope you can give yourself some nervous sweats to sweat a little bit of this alcohol out of your system. Drink a cup of coffee before you drive in your car to go get your sister.
No coffee for me. Caffeine free is the way to be. But I hope that, I hope you have a great week not being in Disney. And maybe one day you'll visit the East Coast, but a cooler place than Mexico.
And Cole, I kind of hope that your sister accidentally lands in Cancun instead of Virginia. Just
because. That would suck.
But most of all, listeners, I hope our love of whiskey lifted your spirits.